You know, we're all taught that progress is this nice, neat, straight line. But what if that's just wrong? What if the biggest leaps forward in history and in business didn't come from just adding one more brick to the wall, but from a chaotic, revolutionary cycle? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into.
I mean, really think about it. We're told that if you just keep your head down and work hard, you'll see this steady climb to success. But does that truly feel like how the world works? Is it really that simple, or is something else going on entirely?
The image we all have in our heads is building a wall, right? Brick by brick. Every new project, every small improvement is just another predictable, stable step forward. It's safe, it's comfortable.
But when you look at the moments that really changed the game, the innovations that created whole new industries, they weren't just another brick. They were more like a wrecking ball that knocked the old wall down and handed everyone a blueprint for a skyscraper.
So let's just blow up that myth of steady, linear progress right now. We're going to look at a powerful cycle that explains how real, world-changing breakthroughs actually happen.
So instead of a straight line, progress actually moves in a cycle. It starts with a long phase of what we'll call normal work. That's when everyone is following the same rules. But then, cracks appear as those rules start to fail. And that leads to a revolution, a chaotic but really opportunity-rich period of change. And finally, a new normal gets set up, with a whole new rulebook, which, you guessed it, becomes the foundation for the next long period of normal work. Let's break each of these down.
All right, let's start with stage 1, normal work. This is where most businesses and most of us spend the vast majority of our time. It is business as usual. And to get it, you have to understand the rules that everyone's playing by. In any industry, there's this thing called a dominant paradigm. It's kind of a fancy word, but all it really means is the current rulebook. It's the collection of unwritten rules, the accepted best practices, and all those shared assumptions about how things are supposed to work.
So during this normal work phase, everybody is focused on playing inside the lines of that rulebook. You're solving the problems you expect to find, you're making little tweaks to refine the current system, but nobody's trying to rock the boat.
In this stage, progress is steady, sure, but it's also really limited. Just think about all the smartphone companies, right? Every year, they're all basically making a slightly better version of the exact same device. That's a perfect example of normal work inside the smartphone paradigm.
But eventually, that stability just breaks. The rulebook that served everyone so well starts to show its age. And this is where things get really, really interesting, because this is where true opportunity is born.
So what happens when a problem shows up that the old way of thinking just can't handle? A problem that seems to completely violate the fundamental rules of the game everyone thought they were playing.
These are called anomalies. An anomaly is just a result or a problem that doesn't fit the current model. In business, maybe it's a new competitor who doesn't play by the rules, or a customer demand that your entire business model can't meet. And what happens at first? The establishment just dismisses them. Oh, that's a fluke. Don't worry about it.
But then, more anomalies pop up. The old workarounds stop working. Those weird results start becoming more and more common. And eventually, so many cracks appear in the foundation that people just lose faith in the old rulebook. And that's when an industry enters a state of crisis. You can spot a crisis when you see these signs. People start complaining openly that the old ways just aren't working. There's a frantic, almost desperate search for new solutions. And you see this flood of wild, competing ideas because nobody knows what the new rules are yet. I mean, think about the taxi industry right before Uber showed up. That was a crisis. Now, a crisis feels chaotic. Absolutely. But it is the necessary setup for the most exciting part of this whole cycle, the revolution. This is the moment a true breakthrough doesn't just improve a field, it completely reshapes it.
A revolution isn't an update. It is a complete and total shift in worldview. It's like going from thinking the sun orbits the Earth to knowing the Earth orbits the sun. The facts of the universe didn't change, but our understanding of them was turned completely upside down. That unsolvable problem in your industry, a new paradigm might not just solve it, it might make it completely irrelevant.
You see, a new paradigm doesn't just give you new answers. It makes you ask entirely new questions. The question is no longer, how do we build a faster horse-drawn carriage? It suddenly becomes, how do we build a self-propelled vehicle? It's a total reset.
Okay, so this is a really powerful model for understanding big historical shifts. But the real question is, how can you actually use it? Let's make this practical. Let's talk about how you can spot the next big shift in your own world.
It starts with this. You have to identify the current paradigm. What are the core beliefs, the deep-seated assumptions that everybody in your field just takes for granted? For decades in retail, the absolute rule was location, location, location. You have to know the rules before you can ever hope to see them break.
Okay, next you go on a hunt for the anomalies. What are those frustrating, persistent problems that everyone just sort of complains about but accepts as the cost of doing business? Think about Blockbuster's entire business model. It was literally built on charging people late fees. The anomaly was a tiny little company called Netflix that realized customers hated late fees and would much rather have a subscription. Those aren't just annoyances. They are blinking red lights signaling where the next revolution is going to start.
And here's the key mindset shift you have to make. Most people see a crisis and they see danger. They see a threat. But what it really is the single greatest moment of opportunity. A crisis means the old rules are up for grabs, and the person who gets to write the new rules, well, they get to define the future. So, let's just recap that cycle one more time. You've got a stable rulebook, a paradigm. Then, unsolvable problems, these anomalies. They pile up and create a crisis. That crisis sparks a revolution that rewrites the rules. And finally, a new paradigm takes over, creating a new normal, which then settles in and becomes the stable foundation until the next crisis hits. Progress isn't a line, it's a series of revolutions.
And you have to remember, this change isn't peaceful. It's a battle of ideas. The new way of thinking doesn't win because everyone suddenly agrees with it. It wins because it works better. It solves the problems, it attracts the best people, and ultimately it just flat out outperforms the old way of doing things.
So the next time you feel stuck, the next time you feel like you're just hitting a wall, remember this cycle. Progress isn't always a straight line. Sometimes it's a revolution. And who knows, the next big one could be just around the corner. If you want to take action, move forward, and find more clients, you can book a free call with CT Marketing using the link below.